I'm pissed. This is complete and it needs to stop. Both political parties are screwing over the average American citizen, all while claiming we're for the people. The Democrats have passed the HEROES Act with hundreds of billions of dollars in pork belly spending that they knew the Republicans would never approve. And now in the HEALS Act, the Republicans are pulling the same BS. Yes, both plans have pretty little names and a few token benefits to make good sound bites on the 6 o'clock news. But when you dig deeper, you will find out just how bad we are all getting screwed. Details on all the hidden pork spending corruption in both of these plans and what you must do to protect and grow your wealth, all this and so much more in today's video. Hello and welcome to Stephen Carlson Show. I'm Stephen Carlson. I'm a tech entrepreneur, real estate investor, author, YouTuber, and volunteer paramedic. Now is the time for us to all take a stand and tell DC that we are sick of their BS. Share this video with your friends on all of your social media accounts to help get the word out. Hashtag Congress sucks, hashtag EIDL grant now. Today I will show you what's wrong with both of these current stimulus proposals and what you need to watch out for. Please make sure you stay to the very end of the video for some hope for the future. Both the political left and right effectively do not care about the people, only about enhancing their political careers and perpetuating the belief that their party is the one that actually cares for the people. Now, we all know politicians make their life vilifying the other guy. I get it. That is just the way of politics. But when it comes to the lives and prosperity of every American citizen and small business in this country during a time of natural disaster, politics should be put aside. Now, of course, there are ideological differences between the parties, and a spirited debate amongst both sides of the aisle about how to best address the problems the country is facing is completely appropriate. But as I said a few minutes ago, the pure political grandstanding of the Democrats when they passed the HEROES Act was utterly despicable and uncalled for. Pelosi knew the Republicans would never support funding for Planned Parenthood, prison reform, and more items on their wish list. There is a section of the HEROES Act that increases the criminal punishment for hate speech. What the? Now, let's be clear, I'm not saying these programs are bad or that they're good. I'm just saying they have absolutely nothing to do with the current crisis. And while DC argues over this BS, we the people, we're getting screwed. The only reason why the Democrats added those wish list items to the HEROES Act was to set a trap for the Republicans. Either the Republicans voted for the pork spending or will be publicly branded as not caring about people in a time of crisis. And you know what? The Republicans fell for this trap. Now, part of me respects the political strategy of Pelosi and the Democrats. They set up a trap and they just sat back and watched. Now, of course, the Republicans completely refused to vote on the HEROES Act, and instead they opted to make their own plan. Okay, seems reasonable. Unfortunately, they took 2 months to release that. During those 2 months, the SBA completely screwed up the EIDL grants and loans for everyone, shortchanging businesses that were counting on their $10,000 grants that Congress promised to them and capping the $2 million loans down to $150,000. Because of all this, countless small businesses are now bankrupt and will never reopen. Now, we all hoped that when they finally announced their plan, it would be amazing. They took 2 months. It should have been perfect. But, well, no. Not exactly. They pulled the same BS that the Democrats did in the HEROES Act. In the Republican proposed HEALS Act, they are allocating $18 billion to military spending, $1.8 billion to a new FBI building, $377 million to White House upgrades, and so much more. Both Republican and Democrat proposed bills have billions upon billions of our tax-paying dollars going to pet projects, not to the people that are truly in need. Now, I want to make this clear. I am not here to debate whether or not Planned Parenthood, the military, or the FBI, etc., 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 need more funding. No, my argument is that none of these projects have anything to do with the current pandemic. Thus, they should not be part of the funding allocations that are part of this pandemic stimulus package. They should all be negotiated in their own funding bills and voted on based upon their individual merits. Now, what do you guys think? Should Planned Parenthood, military spending, FBI, White House improvements, and so much more be part of the stimulus package? Or should stimulus be strictly for the people and businesses harmed by the pandemic? Why don't you comment down below and tell me? Do you guys know what really overcooks my oats? If you add up all of the stimulus money allocated in the CARES Act and the proposed HEALS Act, it comes to $3.2 trillion. Or, said another way, the equivalent of $9,696 for every man, woman, and child living in the United States. This also does not include the additional spending by states and local government, nor does it also include the Federal Reserve Bank's backed MSLP loans, which could easily double these figures. If you're interested in the MSLP, check out the video, link in the description, also in the card above. Now, if you're like me and you didn't receive your $9,696 stimulus check, then I want you to smash the like button to tell Congress that this is BS. Now, of course, this is an oversimplification of the numbers, but I wanted to put some of these into perspective for you.
And many other Republicans are in support of increasing the limit. Even Mitch McConnell has suggested that this $200 number is a starting point. Well, new data is out. According to JP Morgan Chase, Freddie Mac, one of our favorite mortgage giants, and made, of course, popular during the Great Recession, stated that without the extra $600 boost, delinquencies on mortgages would have been 40 to 70% higher than current levels. On stimulus checks, Donald Trump mentioned yesterday that when asked if $1,200 payments were high enough, Trump responded with the quote, "We're going to see. It may have to go higher than that, actually. I'd like to see it be very high because I love the people. I want the people to get it. You know, the economy is going to come back. We saved millions of lives, but we're now bringing the economy back. We gotta take care of the people in the meantime." This reiterates arguments by Donald Trump weeks ago at the White House that the next stimulus package would be very generous and that he wants payments to go even higher than what Democrats want to see.
Now, this is promising news and something that I really hope is fought hard for. In the next package, we need to see a larger one-time stimulus check and continued unemployment bonuses, along with the proper incentives to wean people off unemployment and get them back to work. For this second part to work, all small businesses with less than 100 employees should be eligible for low-interest, 30-year fixed-rate loans of 2 times their annual business income. Now, luckily, this is not all doom and gloom, as a few bipartisan bills are slowly being negotiated as we speak, and some of them actually have some very strong possibilities of being passed. More importantly, actually have the possibility of helping you and me and small businesses across America. Jason is totally pumped up about this.
Bill, there's rumors of 2 more that include Pat Toomey and maybe even Marco Rubio, who's the chairman of the Senate Committee for Small Business. If that happens, it's game over. You are getting 10 grand of cash advance, call it a grant. If you're qualified, you can get up to a $2 million loan, no more of this $150,000 limit, Ms. Carranza. And if you read the bill, which I will put the text in pinned at the top of the comments, it says in black and white that you cannot be discriminated against. Get this, even if you didn't apply for the loan, you still get 10 grand of cash advance. And if you got rejected for the loan because you've got a credit score below 570, which is the SBA's threshold, you're still getting $10,000.
This is one of the items that I talked about in my video last week. Make sure you check out the link in the description, also in the card above. The PPP was a great first step that gave businesses about 2 months of payroll expenses covered as a grant. The problem is that most of that money is completely gone now, and many businesses are forced to let employees go. We know that the nationwide shutdown was probably a little bit longer than it needed to be in many locations. Now, let's not debate that here, and let's just put that issue aside. All that is important at the moment is that many businesses were basically shut down for at least half of the year. We need a second round of PPP that is retroactive back to the beginning of this pandemic. And if any employer kept their employees on payroll, half of the annual salary and payroll taxes should be given as a grant back to these small businesses. It looks like some in Congress have noticed what a complete cluster the SBA is and is trying to streamline the current PPP forgiveness process.
A new bipartisan bill was recently proposed by Fred Upton and Christy Houlihan. They would offer a quick and easy method for the forgiveness of the PPP loans, the paycheck protection loans that have so many entrepreneurs sitting there going, okay, now I got to figure out how to get this thing forgiven. Aimed to offer an easy forgiveness for all PPP loans under $150,000, the bill would have the SBA create a one-page form that certifies that the funds were spent appropriately to receive forgiveness. The new easy form would include an optional checklist for small business owners to indicate whether they have spent 60% or more on payroll cost or less than 60% due to issues with rehiring, which a lot of people have complained about.
Now, while the government is screwing things up and probably harming you financially, right now, why don't you open up a brokerage account, invest $100 in Webull, and you will be given 2 free stocks, with one of those stocks being valued up to $1,400. Please make sure you follow the link in the description and deposit your full $100, as that's the only way for you to get your 2 free stocks. And of course, it also helps support this channel. In today's video, I featured 2 great YouTubers, Jason and Andrew. You guys should really check out their channels and let them know the Steven Carlson Show sent you. Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure you click like and subscribe. Doing so really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next one.